Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about one specific element of a narcissist, and that is love bombing, and a little bit about what love bombing is and why that can be that could be very tricky in a relationship. Whenever you're in a relationship with someone and you meet somebody you really like, it's not uncommon for you to begin to talk to them frequently, or you call them frequently, or they call you frequently, and because it's somebody that you're not familiar with. They're not familiar with you, so in the beginning, it really wouldn't catch you off guard for someone to give you a lot of attention in the beginning. But what a narcissist does, they take it to a whole different level. When a narcissist begins to love bomb you, they want you to immediately feel very familiar with them. Soon after they've met you. So they begin to love bomb you, tell you how wonderful you are, how beautiful you are. They've never met anyone like you, and that you are such, an incredible human being. So so you feel like you're on top of the world, and they make sure that they'll make sure that they leave many of the conversations where they sit back and they're listening to you. The reason why they spend a lot of time listening is because the narcissists, they like to understand the person that they're with. They want to understand the specific nature of the individual that they're with. You say, okay, that's normal. Any relationship that I'm in, I want somebody to understand me. I want somebody to know, be able to know who I am, and what my likes and what my dislikes are, what my boundaries are, and all of that. Yeah, but when a narcissist is in the beginning, it's almost like doing opposition research. You may not understand that's opposition research. You casually telling them some of your most intimate secrets, some of the most intimate details of your life, because you're growing a relationship with someone who you have hopes, or something in you have said that this can be one of my most intimate partners. Because when you are building a relationship with someone, an intimate relationship with someone, they are among your most intimate partners. And so we share as individual, we share with the person that we are with. Even if you're not in a committed relationship in the beginning, when they make you feel at ease, you let down your guard. So you start telling them all of your likes, all of your dislikes. But what you're really doing is you're teaching them what your buttons are, what this is. And so you may ask them, okay, they may ask you, what are some of your favorite foods? And you might tell them, like, oh, I love Italian. I love going to having Italian foods. And I'm not a big fan of seafoods or whatnot. So what they end up doing is they mirror you. So they will mirror exactly what you said. They say, oh my God, I just love Italian food. Have you ever been to this specific Italian restaurant? And immediately you're feeling a sense of connection. Because you guys kind of learning about the things that each other may like or dislike and stuff. And so they may share just a little bit. And a lot of the stuff that they may share may not even be anything related to what they really like at all, because the narcissists, they have a false sense of false persona that they're always trying to show you. You're only going to get to know bits and pieces of them, throughout the time that you're with them, because they don't want to leave themselves vulnerable to you. But you don't really know that when you're first beginning to get to know them. So they love bomb you so that you begin to feel a connection. They begin to build that soul tie with you. it from early on. And so if somebody's calling you all the time, or texting you, baby, can I do this? Or it could just be anything. Then you are feeling loved, you are feeling desired, you are feeling wanted. And that's exactly what they want you to feel, because the narcissist, they want you to feel comfortable. They want you to feel, they know how to mimic a lot of empathy, because many people who are narcissistic, they really don't, over time, when you really see the full-fledged person that they are, you'll realize they don't have a lot of empathy, but you won't know that, in the beginning, because if you were to reach out and if you were to ask them a little bit about their past, everybody that they ever been with, there's been a problem. They were the problem. They may share very little issues like they were the problem, but it's always somebody else's fault. It was, they tried their best to put their best foot forward, but it all fell apart because of this particular individual. And they, so you may feel, because they've love bombed you and all of this other stuff, as they're telling you their story of woes, which 9 times out of 10 is a lie. You don't know it's a lie, but it's a lie. I remember being in a relationship with a man who was a narcissist, and he had me believing that his exes were like the devil. That, it's almost like they couldn't really do anything right, and that, but a few things. And that's because I think with that individual, he learned that you just can't demonize somebody completely, because otherwise it'll turn somebody new off and kind of look at you like, what's wrong with you? So they kind of give it a little balance, but you can tell that they try to tip the scale where it really was that other person's fault, And so, when they do that in the beginning stage, they're setting the stage for you. So you feel like, oh my God, I'm the best thing that's happened to this person since sliced bread. They feel like they're so blessed that they've met me, and so am I. And by the way that they give you so much attention, you feel, sometimes you might even feel a little overwhelmed by all the attention that they've given you. So you have to, when you start to feel that way, you have to really question yourself first. Is all this attention that they are giving me, have I really earned that? Because a lot of times when they're love bombing you, they're giving you unfeathered, compliments. And you may not have done a lot to have deserved all of those. Yes, we all want to feel like we're beautiful people, and that anybody that get with us is should be a blessing. But there is a normal pace of a relationship, and you would know based on your life, where you feel comfortable that the person that is pursuing you is genuine. So sometimes that love bombing can come across a little disingenuous if you are used to normal relationships. But if you're not used to normal relationships and you've been hurt and you've been wounded, you're the perfect target. One of the things that the narcissists, they love highly empathetic people, and people who like to rescue them, who like to, be, the person who, you may not consider yourself like a savior or anything like that, but they look for people who want to save them, who want to rescue them, because they want to be, they are, basically showering you with all of this love, affection, and so they draw you in. And so, once you are drawn in, then that's when they start, and once they've blown your head up and you feel like you're all that, it's little things that they'll do afterwards that, they begin to say little things like they're very much known for verbal abuse. And so they'll say things that are kind of nasty, and they never really like to apologize. It's always your fault. And because you were love bombed in the beginning of the relationship and they showed you all this love and attention, you begin to feel like, it may have been something that you did. Or even if you feel like it wasn't, you want to be apologetic because you want to get back to what you began to feel as normal with this individual. But there's nothing normal about this personality type. A person who is a narcissist, they want to rope you in, and then a lot of them, they want to become, especially men, they want to become quickly intimate with you. Because regardless of some women, what women say, they say, well, I could be just like a man. I could just, have one night stands and next day not really care. I can just be, leave and go be with somebody. That's not true. Whenever a woman is intimate with a man, she builds a soul tie to that particular man. And whether you believe it or not, with all of that love bombing, and you're building a relationship, and you have connections, so you feel connected to that individual for certain things that you've done together, you begin to experience life together, dinners, going out, outings, family and friends and stuff like that. You begin to build a connection with this individual, and then you become intimate with that individual. Then that relationship is transformed. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it's transformed. You don't have to be in an official girlfriend and boyfriend relationship for it to have transformed with you as a woman. But when they start pulling back, calling you less, getting less compliments and stuff like that, that's when they begin to test whether or not their hooks are in you, because they want to see if they can manipulate you because you have a lot of the things that they want. You have a lot of the traits that they're looking for. When they picked you out, you were the right mark. You were a person that was highly empathetic. You were a person that cherished and valued the love that they were given. And a lot of times they reach out to people who are broken, and then, if you were in a relationship prior with a narcissist and you may not have recognized, you broke up, and then you find the same thing. Broken people, without being fixed, and they're highly empathetic, they will fall prey to this type of personality easily. And then they go through a vicious cycle. They start devaluing you, and you're constantly can never do anything right. They're, then when they feel like you're getting ready to go away, they begin to do the love bomb you again, be nice to you, because they know exactly what to say. And so you end up going through this vicious cycle. And then they continue to take you through that cycle where they love bomb you, they begin to devalue you, and then eventually they'll discard you. And then once they've discarded you, then they still want you somewhat close in control, so they hoover you. Hoovering is when they still have some level of closeness or attachment that they have to you, and they use that in order to control you. But that's a completely different aspect or topic. But I just want you to kind of focus on just the love bombing. When they are love bombing you, when they start throwing out a few different people's names that they've been with and stuff, know that in your mind it's natural for you to kind of think and to compare yourself to these other people that they may have been in a relationship with, especially if they're active or whatnot. Just beware that is you are being triangulating they're triangulating you by throwing you in with other people, and at the same time love bombing you, trying to stroke your ego, making this other person seem like the bad guy or whatnot, because eventually they may start saying compliments about that other person, and you're trying to reach, and you're trying to make sure that oh my God, why, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me when it comes to say for instance, they may say this other person used to do X, Y, and Z, but you don't, at least they did this. And then they're comparing, triangulating you, because they know, it's also, they know that you care about them because they've love bombed you, and you've kind of requited that. And so when they do that, they're testing out jealousy. They use jealousy as a weapon. So they bring in an element of triangulation, early on in the relationship, while they are love bombing you by maybe letting you know different actors that are with, their friends or exes that are actors that are somewhat in the background but active in their life. But they put such a negative spill on them at first because they're trying to draw you in. And then in order to control you, they begin to elevate those other people, and you're wondering what's going on. Then you might question if they're still with this person or have feelings about this other individual. And somebody who really loves you, who is really in a relationship with just you, would not ever, in a normal, healthy relationship, want you to ever feel, insecure about where and how you stand in their life. Nobody who really loves you, because a person that really loves you wouldn't jeopardize losing you. These people, they are not worried about whether or not they're losing you. They're trying to create a specific type of tie with you. It's, they're trying to create a trauma bond with you. And so the trauma bonding begins when they're putting all these little pieces in place they're putting all these different pieces in place in order to help bond you closer to them. You might think that may be screwed up. It really is. It's a real sick way to bond with somebody, but trauma bonding is a very, very strong bond. It is very hard to break that bond. It's not a natural bond, because it's bonds that are built out of negativity, and strong dysfunctional activities. And so that's the reason why when people are molested when they're young, or they've been exposed to narcissistic parents or boyfriends or husbands, it's very difficult for them to walk away from those things, because there's a struggle within themselves regarding that. You have to understand, I'm a Christian, so I understand that spirit, that narcissistic spirit, that's the Jezebel spirit. That's the Jezebel spirit that person has. And so and if you know anything about the Jezebel spirit, it's a very, 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 it's one of the strongest demonic spirits that's out there. So it's only natural that if you encounter a narcissistic personality, that you're dealing with a demon. You're dealing with, and a lot of people say that the narcissistic or the Jezebel spirit is very different. It's very hard to get these people to change or whatnot. I'm not going to necessarily subscribe to that, but the thing is, it will take an act of God for these individuals to actually remove that type of spirit from themselves. Now, in the Bible, it talks about Jezebel, about certain spirits. There's only certain spirits that you can't get rid of without fasting and prayer. And so That being said, I'm sure that that's probably the case with the Jezebel spirit, but I digress. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a Christian, and so I do, I do celebrate my faith in a certain way. But like I said, when you are being love bombed, it's really, really important that you recognize that in the relationship that you're building. If somebody is really paying, going overboard with with how they are treating you, as far as like, just, the flowers, just doing the most. What based on who you are, when somebody's doing the most. And therefore, be wary. It's not to say that everybody you meet that's doing that is a narcissist, but be aware of the signs when you are dealing with somebody who is love bombing you. Well, that's the end of my segment for today. I hope that I've been helpful in order to kind of give you an idea of what it's like to what love bombing is, some mild examples of what that is, and what to look for. And so I'm so thankful that you joined me. You joined and you took the time out to listen to me dialogue with you about that. And so please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my videos in the future. And I look forward to talking to you next again. Bye.